What's going on, guys? So why is Tesla up 30% in less than 2 weeks? Well, maybe it's because Tesla is more than just a car company. 2 months ago, I made a video explaining why it was a good time to buy Tesla. In that video, I talked about the catalyst that would most likely push the stock back up. I also explained why the fair value of Tesla was in the ballpark of $290 and $300 per share, which is basically the reversal of the means of the probability of the monthly time frame. Almost everything I said ended up being pretty accurate. Definitely go check that video to analyze my thought process. In recent news, Tesla announced better than expected numbers of sales, with the biggest news being the energy business almost doubling. That's crazy growth, especially for a segment of the Tesla business that no one seems to care about, right? Like Wall Street is not taking that in consideration. Even people that are extremely bullish on Tesla aren't even talking about that specific segment, which is ironical, but it's actually growing extremely fast, which is interesting because that's not even the best part. So if we look at the fundamentals of Tesla, we can clearly see a mismatch between the price action of Tesla that has been going down for the past 3 years and the actual revenue and net income that Tesla has been generating for the past 3 years, which has basically almost doubled from where it was. But in the meantime, the stock has been down almost 60% from the highs, if I'm not mistaken. That's one of the reasons why I kept saying on this YouTube channel that it was a very good time to buy Tesla during those dips. Because like I said in my last video about Tesla, a broken stock price doesn't mean that the company is broken. And obviously, if you actually look at the fundamentals and you look at the numbers of Tesla, the company is doing extremely well, despite all the FUD and the fear that's constantly generated by the mainstream media. So now, fast forward, Tesla is doing great. Regardless of all the lies coming from mainstream media, the Cybertruck is killing it, becoming the best-selling EV truck in North America. No one's talking about that. Every celebrity is buying one and posting pictures on social media. That's free publicity for Tesla, targeting billions of people, which is also in the same time helping to boost Elon Musk's public image after being constantly attacked by the mainstream media for protecting free speech after the acquisition of Twitter. So basically, the Twitter purchase overhang that scared a lot of investors is finally fading away. And now we're gonna get in the juicy part, which is the real world AI with their full self-driving is here and going absolutely nowhere. Optimus 2 is also better than expected. Once they integrate the FSD into the Optimus robot, in my humble opinion, is going to be game over. Don't forget that the stock market is forward looking. So the market is not necessarily going to wait for all of these things to happen to price that into the price of the stock. So that's why I've been vocal about, buying the dip and just holding as a long-term investment, because there is no other company right now of all the stocks out of the S&P 500 that is creating something that will literally pave the way for the future. And historically speaking, when you look at history and you understand the stock market, you can see specific patterns. And one of them is that the stock market rewards companies that innovate extremely well. Of course, at one point the stocks crash as well, right? That's also another pattern, right? When everyone is all in the same stock and then euphoria kicks in and valuation doesn't make any sense. But right now that is not the case for Tesla. A good example is Nvidia. So if Nvidia was able to do what it just did in the past year, which is almost a 6x, which is 600% return, with what Tesla is doing, guys, there is no way in hell that Tesla is going to stay at these levels forever. That's why, in my humble opinion, I think it's going to be one of the best long-term investment one can do. Obviously, I could be completely wrong. Do your own research, but I mean, name me another company doing this, right? So once that happens, in my humble opinion, it's game over. Don't forget. So Tesla will most likely target the biggest moat of consumers, robots, which would potentially unlock $1 trillion market. At one point, this is going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So combining this with a low institutional ownership of only about 40%, most investors are underinvested. Most of the lack of interest comes from the fear of misunderstanding, this complex company. If you like these easy and simple to understand breakdowns, give a like or a follow. It's free and can help you spot new trends and buying opportunities in the financial markets, all for free. So, with earnings coming up at the end of this month, what we are seeing in the price action is buy the rumor, sell the news event. Obviously, Tesla has been on a crazy move to the upside, right? Since I've been vocal about buying the bottom in these ranges. Uh, we're about 30% up, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, from those entries. So I'm very happy about that. Obviously, for me, I'm not selling. This is long terms, and this is why I was vocal about buying, because I knew the percentage of gains to the upside compared to the risk you were taking buying Tesla at those levels it's ridiculous with all the innovation they're creating. It was the best risk reward, in my humble opinion, in the entire stock market, and still is, despite the fact that we're still 30% up. But if we look at the probabilities, guys, obviously we are way overextended. We are now at a fourth standard deviation. So obviously not really something you want to chase. This is obviously not sustainable and will most likely have a correction, which will be a buying opportunity for a continuation to the upside, in my humble opinion. However, the short float is increasing, which is interesting to see, especially when you see a parabolic move like this and then you see a short float increasing. That could give Tesla like that one last burst of energy to the upside of squeezing shorts before having a correction. Time will tell. At this point, if you bought Tesla with me at the lows, short-term fluctuations won't bother you. And on the long term, guys, looking at the probabilities, like I said, the target is still the reversal of the means of the monthly time frame. That's when I basically made the video here saying we should be buying here, right, to have a reversal to the means. Does that mean that it's going to stop there? Personally, I don't think so, especially that we just broke this yearly trend line, right, which is good. And most likely we are doing the formation of a harmonic pattern right here, which technically could bring us to pretty crazy levels. Obviously, I could be completely wrong, and I talked about it in my last Tesla video, where even if I'm wrong and we just go to the means here, it's still like 60% return, right? So even if I'm wrong, I'm still gonna be up a lot of money, and that's why you take the trade, right? It's all about risk reward. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoy and you get to learn. Even if you didn't take the trade, obviously, in my humble opinion, I think it's the easiest trade ever in the market. It's not just because I'm talking my book, it's just so obvious with everything that's going on with the company. So you really need to, have a cognitive bias to not see what's going on with this company. So hopefully we'll see what the future holds. Hopefully we get one last dip so I can also add again one last time to my position, and then obviously it will be a long-term swing for me. All right, peace out, guys. Hopefully this helped broaden your way of thinking about the markets using probabilities, just mixing it with fundamentals and all that good stuff. I'm out of here. I have other stuff to do and I still need to edit this video. All right, take care, stay blessed.